السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله مساءكم. نبدأ بالصلاة على النبي. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. أحسنت، اللهم آمين لدعائك. So I was looking for some dua, but I can't find it, so I'll go back to this one that the Prophet said in praising his Lord at the time of the Battle of Uhud, when he asked his companions to stand in line to thank Allah. So he said, I want to praise my Lord. So they stood in line as if they were just about to do a prayer. But instead, he started praising and praying and making dua to Allah. And he said the following most beautiful dua: form strength ranks so that I can praise my Almighty Lord. They formed in ranks behind him. He said, O Allah, all praise is due to you, O Allah. None can contract what you expand, nor bring near what you put far away. None can put far away what you bring near. None can give what you withhold, nor withhold what you give. O Allah, expand to us some of your blessings, mercy, and favor, and give us provision. O Allah, I ask you for the abiding blessing, which is neither changed nor removed. Allahumma ameen. O Allah, I ask you for the blessing on the day of utter poverty and security on the day of fear. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma aminna. O Allah, I seek refuge with you from the evil of what you give us. O Allah, make us love belief and adorn our hearts with it. Make us hate disbelief, deviance, and rebellion. Place us among the Almighty guided, O Allah. Make us die Muslims and make us live as Muslims. Allahumma ameen. And join us to the rightly acting who are neither disappointed nor afflicted. O Allah, fight the unbelievers who bar your path and who deny your messengers. Place your abasement and punishment over them. O Allah, fight the unbelievers who were given the book, O Lord of the truth. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma innahum yaqatiluna. قال حدثنا عبيد بن رفاعة الزرقي عن أبيه قال لما كان يوم أحد وانكفأ المشركون قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلوا عليه اللهم صل وسلم استووا حتى أثني على ربي عز وجل فصاروا خلفه صفوفا فقال اللهم لك الحمد كله اللهم لا قابض لما بسطت ولا مقرب لما باعدت ولا مباعد لما قربت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا مانع لما أعطيت. اللهم ابسط علينا من بركاتك ورحمتك وفضلك ورزقك. اللهم آمين. اللهم إني أسألك النعيم المقيم الذي لا يحول ولا يزول. اللهم إني أسألك النعيم يوم العيلة والأمن يوم الحرب. اللهم عائدا بك من سوء ما أعطيتنا وشر ما منعت منا. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم آمين. واجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم توفنا مسلمين. اللهم آمين. وأحينا مسلمين والحقنا بالصالحين غير خزايا ولا مفتونين. اللهم قاتل الكفر الذين يصدون عن سبيلك ويكذبون رسلك واجعل عليهم رجزك وعذابك. اللهم قاتل الكفر الذين أوتوا الكتاب إله الحق. اللهم قاتل الكفر الذين أوتوا الكتاب إله الحق. اللهم آمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا. So we will one more time we will just review what we've been saying for a few weeks right now about the definition of رضا. We say رضا is انشراح الصدر لقضاء الله. رضا is the opening of the chest and the happiness of the person for the coming of قضاء الله. Positive, lots of money, a wife, a kid, or whatever, or negative, accidents, calamities, loss of life, loss of ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Whatever one of those comes, we're in a state of acceptance. So that's one definition. This is the opposite of the mindset of sabr. The mindset of sabr is حبس النفس عن السخط. حبس النفس عن السخط. Like, I want to hold myself from being angry. No. I'm good. I can take this. That's a different mindset. The other one, Ya Allah, whatever you do for me is I'm good. The third definition of rida, or the second definition of rida, is the deep one, which I like to always quote, is what Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, when he stood, people stood in line asking for him to pray for them. He was, God knows, in his 90s, and he's in Mecca coming to do Umrah, and a little kid came to him and he said, what do you want from me? And he said, what kind of dua can I do for you? Because people are standing in line to do the dua. And Sayyidina Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas says, what kind of dua you want? And the kid says, no, I don't want a dua for me. I'm just surprised. He said, what are you surprised from? He's from the Tabi'een. He said, I am surprised that you have this superpower, the dua al-mustajab 100%, as the Prophet made dua for you and you became the superhuman. And you're not making dua for getting back your eyesight. And he said, the kid to him, why would you believe like I would do that? ألا يرضى سعد بما رضي الله له? Wouldn't Sa'd be happy and content and have riza for whatever Allah has made him content in? So that's another definition for rida. Okay. Third definition for rida is that we have the tuma'nina, have the tranquility in our heart that whatever Allah chooses for us is the best scenario for my life, especially for the life after. So, if Allah sees that my amal is not going to get me to balance against all my sins and little mistakes and big mistakes and whatever. So I say I'll have to give him a push. I don't know. وَمَاذَا يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ بِعَذَابِكُمْ, right? What would Allah do with hurting you? He doesn't know. Because I genuinely believe that Allah loves me. Why do I believe 100% that Allah loves me? Because for the mere fact that I exist. Why is that? Because I don't need to exist. The sun will rise tomorrow without me. The sun will fall down without me. The system will work. The oxygen level will work. Everything will do just fine. I don't need to be here. He just decided that I need to be here. Who would create something that he doesn't want to create? Nobody can tell Allah anything. It's his thing. So the mere fact I'm here, that he loves me. And because he loves me, from the get-go, I believe that he will pick up the best scenario for me not to make it to hellfire. Alas. But to make it to hellfire, there's no other place to go but to Jannah. So he gives me a little push in this. Maybe I should get him fired from his work. Maybe I should give him a test with his partner in business and let him steal some money from him or ruin his reputation in the marketplace and let him boil for 2 years and stress and stress. Maybe because that's good for him, because that releases and wipes all of his sins. Now I don't have to punish him in the day after. So if you have that tuma'nina, that genuine belief that Allah will not do anything for me to harm me, and He's got my best interests in line for me and my best interests in mind for me, and He doesn't want me to go to hellfire, then I am very happy. Just like Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas said, why do you want me to pray to Allah that He bring me back my eyesight? Wouldn't Sa'd be happy with whatever Allah is happy for with him? أَلَا يَرْضَى سَعْدٌ بِمَا رَضِيَ اللَّهُ لَهُ. Now that's the deep meaning of rida. All right, so give you 3 definitions. Today I want to give you more definitions of rida. That's why I always say all the books of that talks about the manazil al-iman, 1 chapter, 2 chapter, 3 chapter on sabr, then 1 book, 2 book, 3 book on riba. Is that because it's the core of our faith. It really is the core. And in order for you to have that core, you just have to, subhanallah, to believe. Okay, let me read you this ayah. Look at this ayat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سابقوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم وجنة عرضها كعرض السماوات والأرض أعدت للذين آمنوا بالله ورسله ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير. All right, now listen to this ayah. لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور.
دي صورة يا شيخ. دي صورة.
I'll tell you in a minute. Subhanallah. I'll give it to you just after, inshallah. Allah يسعدك. So سابقوا, okay. لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما أتاكم. So that you do not feel sorry for what you have not been able to get. ما فاتكم. Something that passed you, an opportunity that passed you, something that you really wanted and you couldn't get it. That wife, that job, that business, that position, that election, whatever it is. لكي لا تأسوا على ما فات. So you do not feel saddened and despaired. Asa from despair. For what you have lost. ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم. And you do not get terribly excited for what you're getting. Because after all, it's just carpet and water. Whatever you're going to get is carpet and water. Whether it's another human or another car or another house or another job or another... At the end of the day is turab and ma, right? وَاللَّهُ لَا يَحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. I see this like a very deep definition of riza. Riza is, I'm happy if I lose that opportunity, although I worked 6 years for it. Maybe you went to medical school and just wouldn't pass the exam or the bar exam to become an attorney. Maybe that's your test. So you do not get terribly depressed over something you missed, and you don't actually either get terribly happy over something. Why are you so happy? It's only a few more days and you're gonna be in the grave. So that big palace is you're not gonna take it with you to the grave. Why are you terribly excited about that big house? Why are you terribly excited about that big job? That's rida. When everything becomes to you sayyan. Yani same. I'm very good. Well, Allah, whatever you bring me good. You want me to be poor? I'm fine. You want me to be rich? I'm done. You want me to marry the worst person? I'm fine. The best person? I'm good. I have riza. And this is the definition. All right, you want the 5th definition for riza? That's why I'm telling you, riza is very deep. فلا وربك لا يؤمنون أعوذ بالله العلي العظيم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلا وربك لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. Now that's Surah An-Nisa, ayah 65. فَلَا وَرَبُّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى حُكُمْهَا. So you will not receive, Allah saying, you will not get to the power, to the level of faith, to say, I am mu'min, unless they let you, the Prophet, your sunnah, your madhab, your style, the hukum, is make them happy and they accept it with riza, in things that they get into a fight for. And shajara is almost a fight that goes to a physical fight, shishar, right? So if or knives or swords. So they will not reach a level of faith unless they're happy with what you decided and you have riza. ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم. Then after they accept this, they find nothing in their heart for what you ruled. Then now you have riza. And you remember in the beginning, we said the number one definition of riza is the two hadiths, which all maqamat al-iman was divided on, that were based on. Number one, the hadith that says, whoever listens to the adhan and says at the end, رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا. No Rasula. Somebody asked the Rasul and Rasula, and the Rasul corrected him and said, just say stop at Nabiya. Just Nabi and stop. So we keep on adding that, but there is no Rasula. Just for your information. Actually, there's a hadith that where he tells the people, don't say wa Rasula. Okay, so a Nabiya, then, so you have to have Riza in Allah, Uluhiyat Allah, Rabba, Rububiyat Allah, and we went a whole lecture on this. Then you have to do Muhammad Nabiya وبالإسلام دينا وبرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا. So what does that mean? You have to have riza in the rules of the Quran. And inshallah we will spend on just this riza, on what Muhammad has brought us, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, our prophet and messenger. Inshallah we'll spend a whole time, because if you do not find it okay, if you want your religion to be your religion, then you're following your hawa. How about if your religion doesn't agree with that business opportunity that we just worked all our butts off for a long period of time to get it, and now we come and we realize that it's not Sharia compatible? Will you have haraj in your nafs? And khalas, Allah will understand. We're trying to feed our families. We're trying to do this. Wallahi, we're trying this. Inshallah, wallah. No, Allah doesn't need to understand. Because now you're not following, you're not accepting the ruling of Sayyidina Muhammad as your ruling. And if you don't have that riza, and you don't have the practical acceptance, and you're not gonna quit, cease and desist. That's what the ayah says. You have to cease and desist. Like stop and be happy, and actually be happy. وَلَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا. So that is riza. Now you want more? I think we have enough of definitions for tonight. We'll add some more as we move on. See how deep this concept? وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. And they surrender themselves تسليما. مِمَّا قَضَيْتُ وَلَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتُ. And they find no hurt feelings and no discontentment from what you have ruled for them. So that's riza. So riza is very deep, because riza is not just feelings. It's not a feeling with the calamity. Also, riza, you have to have the riza in the deen of Islam. You have to have in the regulations, and you have to have riza with the do's and don'ts. And if the do's and don'ts do not agree with your hawa for that year, because it might, in your stupid conception, that now we're going to lose this big business opportunity. So now we'll just make it. We'll find a fatwa, we'll find something, and we'll do our own way. Then now you're not practicing riza. See, that's why riza is the faith, really. Because Allah's bringing it to our attention. You actually have to have riza not only on the calamities, but also riza in the rules and regulation I gave you. And then you have to follow my prophet in his dictation. And not only you follow him, after what he decided is against your hawa, against what you really want, clean up your heart and be said, okay, I'll stop. Inshallah, this is good for me. I don't know what's good for me. Anyway, this is good for me. I follow what the Prophet told me. So that's riza. All right? Now, subhanallah, I want to go back to finish the talk of last week. But I feel like I need to revisit this every week, because we forget and we're not writing. So at least. So if you remember last week, we were talking, we finished the talk with this subject, and 6:28, how much time we have?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of biology and and psychology. Is that okay? All right. This is very important because I promise you, each one of you is going through this or has gone through this or will be going through this tomorrow. So it's good, at least you know the process and you understand. And many of you already know this process, many not maybe in detail. So I'm going to go through a little bit of detail. So I said that the definition of Riza is that tranquility in the heart that whatever Allah picked for me, because He created me, and because He created me, it means He loves me. And because I trust that He will not do anything to harm me, just like the mother who's breastfeeding her child would not throw her child in hellfire. And that's what the hadith of the Prophet said. And I swear by God that Allah is much more loving to you than this woman that will, while she's breastfeeding, you think it'll cross her mind ever to throw her son in the fire? She will never. That thought doesn't even cross her mind. And the same thing that Allah is saying, that the Prophet said, that Allah is much more merciful and has much more love for you than this mother with her little kid. So that has to translate into something. All right, if we already believe in this hadith and we believe in all what we just said, then are we practicing Riza? Or are we practicing Allah will understand and I'll melt the things of this? So that's what it means. And then we said that how about if we don't practice Riza? How about if we show discontentment? No happiness, no contentment, no Riza. What is the direct implications not on the life after? Because the direct implication is that you're failing the test, which is in the first 3 ayat of Surah Al-Ankabut. Alif Lam Mim. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do people think that we'll let them say that we have believed and we're not going to test them? وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. And verily we have did the fitna and the testing and the calamity for the people before them, all people before them. So Allah will know who's lying and Allah will know who's truthful. Lying about what? Lying about saying in the first ayah that I am faithful. So this, all ayat are saying again, you don't want to be caught lying to Allah. Lying to Allah about what? That in the morning I came and prayed Fajr here, I said Allahu Akbar wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and I did bowing and this, and I am mu'min. But when it came to real testing, quiz, Allah gave me a little quiz in front, and somebody irritated me and upset me or this or that, how did I react? The real test, I failed. Then why do you say you're mu'min? Allah is saying, why? Now I figured out, I let you figure out, I already know your outcome, but I'm just showed you what you are made of, and what you're made of is something who's Muslim but not mu'min. You already did the shahada, you said ashhadu an la ilaha, but your behavior does not show any iman. That's very scary because you don't want to be dying showing Allah that you're a failure, that you are فَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. You don't want to be caught or dying that minute when Allah is seeing you as kadib about your faith. So it's very deep. All right. So we said, where we left it last time is, and by the way, a lot of this talk is actually for me, not for anybody here, because I think that I find myself slipping into this Riza, Manzilat al-Riza, or the Maqam of Riza, if we consider. Many people consider it only a hal, not a maqam, because it comes up and down. What about if we do not have Riza? And I don't want to talk about the life after, I want to talk about today, about Alameda, about Oakland, about this area. What about while we're here today, we don't have Riza? What will happen? I'll tell you the first implication. You'll develop and you're living these symptoms and the reality and the hal of stress. What did we say the stress in Farsi? Did you say tashwish? Yes. What did we say last time? Tashwish? What is it in Urdu, stress?
Parashani.
Parashani? Yeah. Okay. So we will be living that state. So I wanted to show you what happened when you're stressed. Because stress is the immediate, really, if you come to the bottom of it, you're saying, Ya Allah, I cannot handle what's happening around me because I'm trying to change it. My expectations here and what's happening to me is here. My expectation, my son is here, and how he's acting is here. My expectation in my spouse is here, what's happening is here. My expectation in my work is here, with this. My expectation for income is here, but this is what I'm getting in income here. And because we have this disparity, I'm feeling angry and anxious. Okay, angry and anxious. But what's the reason for that? Because they're really deep inside. If you go dig inside yourself, dig, you find you didn't have rida.
And the reason for that عدم الرضا ما أعطاك الله سبحانه وتعالى.
عدم الرضا, exactly. Lack of rida. How many times that happens to you in a given day? Daily, huh? Very hard. That's why I'm telling you, this subject, it's always books and books on rida and few chapters on sabr. Right? And we never give it. And why? And this is why I spend the whole lecture on this. It's just saying, or dars, that is rida a maqam or is rida as a hal? Because if it's rida maqam, then we have to all attain it. Then it becomes wajib, just below fard. But because many people say, no, it's very difficult. Although it's a very short and direct way to Jannah, direct way to avoid hellfire, direct way to success, direct way to being happy, but it's a very difficult way. And because we're not up to it, then we keep on failing, then that's not a maqam, that's not a stationary, that's flexible, fluctuating, then that's hal, that's not a maqam, then that's not wajib. And because it's not wajib, it's mustahab, it's one lower level. You see? And I keep on asking you to reflect on this, and you might think, oh, this is philosophical. No, it's not philosophical. I'll tell you why. Because now you'll see that it impacts your body, the physical body, if you don't do that. Number one. Number two, you end up in hellfire. We don't want to go to hellfire. So it's very important that you bring that to consciousness. You continue to bring that to consciousness, right? All right. So we said one of the main outcomes of you not having a state of rida is stress. And how bad is stress? So this is where we're gonna go a little bit deep. And if you start missing it, it's okay. Just get the general idea. And you probably anyway forget most of what I'm gonna say, so it's okay. But I just wanna give you the dynamics, the physical dynamics. So we're gonna do a little bit of biology here. So you'd understand what goes on your body maybe 9 times in any given day. Alhamdulillah. All right. You remember when we said about fight or flight, the state of fight or flight? How is it triggered? You're walking, one of two things, fight or flight. Walking in the street and a car is approaching you. I'm gonna give you this example and we'll stick to this example because we have a limited time. I have like 25 examples, so I'm just gonna stick to one. So the car is approaching you and it's approaching fast. You're thinking they're gonna see you, but something in your heart tells you, no, he's not stopping. Now, a whole reaction happens in the brain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all these reactions is 0.0001 of a second, 0.00001 of a 1 of a second. We're superhumans. We're not normals. Everybody is a Superman. So the part that gets you that feeling, responsible for this, we said, it's just like a small zabiba. You know zabiba? What's zabiba in English? Raisin. It's like a small raisin in the middle of the brain. But it is so powerful that it can actually take over the brain and says, excuse me, my time. We're not gonna even let you think. I'm gonna take care of the whole thing for you. Because it's much faster than me. So that's called amygdala. The amygdala, it's very small. It reacts to feelings, controlled by feelings. And the feeling, it does that my life is in danger. It right away triggers a whole mechanism of fight and flight, or flight. Fight means fight, it's just go to confront it. Or flight means go run very fast. One of two. We're either gonna fight or we're gonna just run for cover. Right? Anyways. So the car is coming. All of a sudden, it's this. What will end up happening? It releases two hormones. One called the adrenaline. Actually, at first, it sends it to the nervous system. It's called the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system. And it releases, the sympathetic nervous system goes ahead and releases two hormones. So one talk to the other. First of all, it sends the message to, what is it, that part is called hyperthyrosis. Hyperthyrosis. That hyperthyrosis is the command center of the brain. So this little piece tells the command center, we need to move fast. And this whole conversation, as I said, 0.00 something of a second. That one, when it does that, it sends a message to the sympathetic nervous system, which means, I'll tell you what the sympathetic nervous system, it does 4 or 5 things simultaneously, also in a split a second. It increases the heart rate to maybe 500%, instantly. So go all of a sudden. Number 2, it raises your blood pressure significantly, maybe 300%, 400%. Number 4, it strengthens the muscles, it tightens the muscles. Number 5, it widens the vessels so that more blood can go and pick up a lot of more oxygen all of a sudden and gets pumped this. The parasympathetic system does another thing, the other one, the opposite one. It starts shutting down. This starts activating. The other one says, no, I'm going to shut down. We don't need digestion. Stop. The stomach cannot work. The intestines cannot work. We don't need it. I don't want to waste energy on you. Now we need just to survive. We're not going to eat right now. We're going to release existing energy. We're not going to create a new energy. All right? So that happens. When that happens, 2 enzymes or 2 hormones are released. One is called adrenaline, and the other one is called hyperpheramine. Both of them help with getting all this moving. So now the car is approaching. I have to act very fast. So all of this is happening. I decide they will not stop. So I go jump like I've never jumped before. And by the way, under these circumstances, you will break any world record in Olympics. Just to let you, any one of you will break any world record by probably 3 to 4 feet. That how much? And it'll happen in a much faster place than any Olympian can do. This life-saving mechanism. Actually, the adrenaline rush, it was recorded that a 29-year-old girl was able to remove a car just to save a baby. And carry a car. And a little girl, petite girl, removed a car and this. They're very supernatural ones. You know, we're also reminded of Sayyidina Ali when he went to Khaybar and removed the whole thing. And in another time, as you later on when he's Khalifa, he couldn't move something small. And he said, why did you do this? I thought you moved that. I thought you're a superhero. I said, the other time I did it for Allah. This time I'm doing it for Ali. I'm not going to get the same result. I'm not going to be a superhuman in front of you. I'm sorry. Too bad I disappointed you. All right, so you get that rush. All right. Now, how about if while we're doing this, now this is the second. This is where it gets ugly. This is where we all get close to having heart attack, or we end up having a heart attack. All right. But it also takes a while. It's not instantly. All right. How about if more cars are still coming? And now, that's the guess what happens? 2 hormones go back to the brain and tell the brain the hyperthyrosis. Hyperthyromus. See? He knows. Tabib, huh?
Used to be doctor.
Yeah. So he goes back and tells him We want a superhero adrenaline. We want a superhero hormone to keep us at that high level, high breathing, very fast breathing, very frustrated. I want it ongoing because so many more cars are coming, and I need to save it. What is that called? Cortisol. Oh, cortisol is a major general, very high ranking. Cortisol comes down and keep everything running for as long as it is. Until a point where you get to the other side of the highway, let's say you're crossing the highway, and you start breathing, and then the parasympathetic system starts shutting down and says, no, that high alert mode, we're gonna take it all the way back notch to the stop and digest. What is it called? That mode? Here, I'm gonna give you the name of that mode. All of these has names. Determines the threat is no longer present. The hormones travel to adrenaline glands to trigger the release of cortisol. And that's rest and digest, which is what you are right now. You are resting and digesting. You can eat and you can relax, and we don't have to have a 300% blood pressure. We don't have to have a very widened vessels. We don't have to have a quick heartbeat. It can be normal. All right, good. Alas, we got that example. That's the whole mechanism. How about the problem is, and this is, if you forget everything I said, it's okay. You don't have to. The problem is, in reality, what I described to you right now, when you're trying to save your life, is the same thing, the body reacting the same way when it's not a physical danger. When it is all in your head. That's a big problem. That's why all are failures. Alhamdulillah. I'm number one. Maybe top failure. When the thoughts of appearing danger, the thought that I might be fired because they're firing everybody in my company and I might be on the list. The body will react to that thought as the freaking car that's coming. And all this very long process I gave you that takes 0.0 seconds and this and that, and now you're constantly in a state of alert and you're constantly putting cortisol in your body. And when you're constantly putting cortisol in your body, the cortisol in the beginning, it's very good, it's super energy. But guess what? If it continues, it screws up with other things. It starts completely shutting down your immune system. It starts getting the inflammation going. It starts getting the problems with vascular system, and starts getting you to the point where your body cannot handle it anymore. Like, we cannot be on so hyper energy, emergency all the time, guys. We cannot. So finally, after a while, you become very susceptible to two symptoms when this sustained cortisol. Why? Because of perceived threat in your head that doesn't exist. And why does all this start? Because we had no Riza in the beginning. So now, and on top of that, not only Riza, we don't trust that Allah will come back to rescue us if we got fired from the company. So our faith is also bad. Yeah. Or we can find another apartment once they kick me out from my apartment. Or if the place is on fire and it turned out that the day I have on fire, I discover I don't have an insurance policy. And now my brain is telling me, your kids will be in the homeless streets of Alameda for the next 2 years. And now you're putting the images and you're seeing the tent where they're living. And at night they're very cold and you're seeing image after image after image after image. And cortisol level high. And all the system is going. Give yourself a month sustained of this, and now you have two major diseases. Number one is anxiety, number two is depression. Continue with this a little bit more, and you are very susceptible to heart attack and possibly stroke or both. Now do we see how important Riza is? I can't find another place. and how important it is to develop our relationship with Allah to the point where we trust in Him. That, Ya Allah, whatever you bring me is fine. And if your decision is, I need a little push or slap in the back, so I don't make it to hellfire, because hellfire is much worse than any problem I'm gonna face here, including poverty, including homelessness, is nothing. Homelessness is a lovely mega upgrade over 3 seconds in hellfire. Major upgrade. A lifelong of homelessness is a major upgrade over being on fire. And if we decide that we have to have the build a trust in Allah, that if that is actually what's going to end up happening, that Allah will that day will take care of me. Not because of my bank account, but because He's capable of taking care of me. Because guess what? He took care of me for 9 months, fed me when I was floating in the water, in my mother's womb. I was a fish, and He took care of me when I was a fish. And He brought me the food and took away all the leftover of my food, the urine and the pee and everything, and take it out to my mother, and my mother got rid of it. And then He only allowed for oxygen to come in, took away all the carbon dioxide, but did not kill the mother, because He did it in a way that doesn't harm the mother. And He did this very sophisticated system to bring me food and this and that. And if He's willing to do it there, why can't He be? Why is He cannot do it when I become homeless or I lose my home over fire or wherever it is? By the way, we have, mashallah, this year San Ramon enjoyed more than 300 earthquakes in the last month and a half. I don't know if you know. Our city next door to us. So we're not far away from earthquakes. So whatever I'm saying is not too far. So we have to rethink, how is my faith? 6:50, how far are we from Khutbah Jum'ah, from Isha?
Now it's 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Done.
Shall we talk about solutions? Okay, now we have the system, so you guys
Yes.
got the system.
Fast, good.
Okay, fast. Huh?
I give you 10 minutes.
10 minutes. خلاص يلا I'll do 10 minutes. I don't know. I always talk about this, but I don't think that we should allow ourselves to I don't think we should allow ourselves to come to any given day in our life without the night before doing Qiyamul Layl. And I talk about it because there were years and years when I didn't do Qiyamul Layl, and there were years and years when I did Qiyamul Layl, and the difference is day and night. You just get incredible amount of energy for the next day to handle whatever blowout you're gonna have. And you need to plug, because your soul needs charging, just like your food, the stomach needs charging, the other one needs charging. That's why Ramadan is so fantastic, because the whole year we're feeding the other body, and now the other half of us, now this is depressed, and the other one is floating and happy. And why? Because it's all of a sudden it's eating. That's why we feel high in Ramadan at the nights, and we do this, because the whole day we're just suppressing the first system, which is the physical system. And because by getting us tired, this other one is being nourished. Right? Plugging. Number one. Number two, come to pray Fajr in the masjid. Why? Because it gives you protection, it gives you nur. It gives you. Number three, Adhkar al-Sabah gives you protection for the whole day. Number four, you have to find the time to do 7-8 pages of Quran every day. Why? Because that will reset your brain. And that will give you a higher energy. It'll give you a lot of feeling of food, and reopen your, and actually if you really study it or think about what you're reading, and reaffirm the faith, so the faith can be going up. So now I can handle whatever garbage is coming me my way during the day. So the reconnecting with the Quran to reprogram them, because the program is so miraculous, physically miraculous, not just by ideas and concepts. No, it's actually physically, it rearranges the brain, rewires it. You putting your head on the floor for 3 minutes and above at night while you're doing Qiyamul Layl, when you have time and no distractions, and no, we have an appointment and we have to pick up this, none of that. Now you and Allah and nobody else, for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever you can afford. You're putting your head on the floor, After 3 minutes, the physical, the chemistry of that is unbelievable. It takes away all the electricity, all the neutrons, all the negativity, and you actually neutralize it. That's why this house has a piece of metal that's going underground. So when the electric light, when the thunder and storms hit it, it doesn't burn it. It takes it and it leaves it. It's called, what is it called? Grounding. Okay? When we put this here, we ground. We get rid of all of the electricity. So that's why I say Qiyamul Layl, actually, 40 minutes is probably equivalent to 2 sleeping cycles, or at least 1 sleeping cycle, which is an hour and 40 minutes. It's the same physical brain. Then the last, we have to find a time to do tafakkur in khalqullah. Go to the beach, read about fish, read about this plant, take a picture right now. Artificial intelligence is doing all the jobs. You want to know about the softwares? I got all of them. Softwares for birds, software for lands, and see what is the purpose for this shrub next to your door. I promise you, none of you, including me, maybe I do a little bit more than you because I'm actually studying, knows the names of shrubs, not trees. None of you knows the name of the trees on this trees. And if you know the name of 1 or 2 trees. Okay, what are the other trees doing? How they're contributing to the life cycle. If you study it, all of a sudden, this is the direct impact. When you start doing tafakkur into this, or your internal system, or your eyesight, or the astrophysics, or the universe, now your mind, you're giving your mind a break from worrying about you. And about what did she say? And what did he say? And what am I going to do this? And yeah, she keeps on doing this. Now, instead, your brain is busy with something bigger. And when you come back to your mundane life and start thinking again, now you're actually, it's like, this is stupid. I can't believe I was wasting my time worrying about this. So you need that mental break. And that's called أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ. Almost in every ayah, Allah is asking you to practice this ubudiyah, which basically, I don't know, almost ended in the Muslim world. Why? I don't know. But you have to revive it so you can maintain your mindset. Number 6 is, how about if the anxiety hits me while it's hitting me? ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب والذين تطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Dhikr, the power of dhikr is so powerful. And find it, and if it doesn't work right away, give yourself 2 hours of dhikr. Walk the beach and do it while it will calm you down. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يا أولي الألباب والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Good timing?